Hi, I'm Matt from TOMS Off-Road. Today we've got a roof rack, specifically a Rhino-Rack. We're going to be putting this together, testing it out on Jason's Bronco here, like it needs to get any taller, but that's what we're going to do today. Looks really well made, comes with the hardware, tools to put it together. It's a really good kit, so we're going to get started, see what we got. We're going to start by putting it together like a puzzle. We're going to start with the perimeter, get the ribs laid out, hardware installed where it needs to go. We're going to show you some of the little details they go over in the instructions. I read through those so you don't have to bother. The manufacturers made it really easy to put this stuff together. Some of the supplied hardware they have, this little T-wrench here is actually a torque wrench, so that when you get to tightening down some of these hardware pieces, it'll actually click and tell you, hey, that's tight enough, don't go any further. You're gonna strip something out. These are the corners that connects your long piece that goes down the gutter rail with your crossbar here. Pops in half like this. There is a little place to insert it there. Got a few screws that will attach here and here. A couple more screws. This will be towards the end where this cap will go on. Keeps everything nice and tidy. A little note that they have in the instructions is wiring for your aftermarket lights, big light bar, pods, whatever you want to put on there. There's channels for that to run down, keep the wires tucked away, and then these can go right back on, kind of tidy everything up. These are the gutter mounts. These are going to grip onto these pieces here. This actually will sit in the gutter. This clamps onto the underside of the gutter and will clip it in place, hold it nice and securely. Some of the other hardware we've got are these T-bolts, and those are going to slide in these little grooves here. That's going to lock all the crossbars and the slats. All right, so first step for putting these corner pieces on is just kind of get everything more or less set before you just go torquing it down. I feel giving it a little bit of wiggle room is ideal. You might want to get something to hold down on that while you get that started in there. All right, next we've got the front bar here. It has two of these screws that are going to attach in here. And that's it for attaching this corner. Go over to the other side, attach it the same way. Before we put the back section on, we need to slide some hardware down the rail. If you're not a big fan of doing things by hand, I suggest you use power tools. That's what I like to do. So I've got my impact driver. I would suggest be very careful using power tools, personal injury, as well as over torquing any of the hardware. You just need to get it snug. It doesn't have to be driven in like a 3-inch deck screw. You just want to run them up snug. Just saves a little bit of time, makes it a little less effort that way. Still using the piece that came with the kit. We're going to drive this, just snug it up. All right, so we've got the front crossbar installed. There's a certain amount of the T-bolts that need to be installed depending on the size of rack that you get. The one that we're going to use for the Bronco has 5 of the cross support bows, so you need to have enough bolts to go in to support those 5 bows. So I think it's going to be a total of 10 on this side because there's 2 anchor points, and then 10 on that side, and then you'll run into the same thing when we're doing these main ribs here. I'm gonna get those installed and we'll kind of show you how we put those in. So these T-bolts, they're gonna go in this upper groove here. Notice if we get them in the lower groove, how much taller this one sits. This one's, you're not gonna be able to get any threads when you try to put the nut on there. So you wanna get your 5 bolts slid in there. Get your other 5 in here. Now we're going to get these runners spaced out to where they're gonna go. These runners are going to take 7 of these bolts per groove. You've got 5 of them for your cross rails, and your other ones are gonna be where it actually attaches at the front and back rail. So I'm gonna put a few of these in here. We're gonna need a few more pieces of hardware. So we've got our runners, basically just going to lift up, slide the T-nut under, drop it down, and get the hardware started. Again, you can use their torque wrench or install handle. I do recommend using this once you've got the bolt run down snug, coming back and torquing everything down once you've got some things lined up. Now that we've got the front of the rails attached, come back here to the back, set this back rail in place, slide the main runners in there. Take our attaching hardware. This longer cross tip attachment is much easier for getting to some of these places. If you have just a standard cross tip, such as this one, getting to the screws down here without being at an angle can be a little troublesome. So I appreciate that they put this in as an attachment. It doesn't have the lockout tab to keep it secured in there. What do you want? It is free. We're going to attach the back of the runners. Slide the T-bolts, line up with the holes, just running them down so they're snug. I'm going to run these down, and you kind of hear that crack. Basically, it just kind of snaps very much like any other torque wrench. Now we're going to lay these crossbars in place. You can do the trial and error method, or you can try to take some measurements. 3 of your cross rails, the front, middle, and rear, need to line up with the tabs on the gutter rail mounts. 2 of them are a little closer together. Those are going to go towards the back of the hardtop. I would recommend test fitting. I've come up with a layout that worked well on our setup. Depending on how your hardtop is, what kind of life it's lived, it might be a little bit more tweaked, and you can't go off of something that's perfectly square. It might just have to be adjusted a little bit here and there. It's one of the reasons why I say kind of leave everything a little bit loose till you get it fitted. Snug some of the key points down so it locks it in place. Take it back off, flip it over, tighten everything up, and then set it on there. And then you can do your final mount at that point. These I have set up on the marks that they have laid out here. They've got a 0 point, and they've got these, I'm assuming they're centimeters. We're gonna lay these out. I was able to get these T-bolts kind of all pushed into a row, and then you just drop it down, and now you've kind of captured all of these. And then you can run the hardware to attach those pieces on. We're going to button up these corners. Just takes 3 of these just regular screws. This will slip right over. And again, just snug them up. They don't need to be over tight. Next, we're going to get on to attaching the side rails. So on the first, middle, and last cross support, we've got more of the T-bolts. These T-bolts are a bit elongated, so they are directional. There's a large gap in the middle of the crossbow, and that's where those will drop down, and then just slide them out. 2 per rail. Again, they're going to attach right into the gutter rail bracket. The kit comes with these protective rubbers. These will go on the feet, and that actually sits down in the gutter, and that'll protect the gutter from excessive wear. So we've got the side rails attached. Kind of got them loosely bolted. We've got the approximate width that we need to get it installed on the vehicle. We'll do a test fit, make some adjustments, and then snug them down once we've got them on the rig. We'll take it back off, snug up all the cross rails, make sure everything's fit, torqued down with the little torque wrench they gave us, and then we should be able to get the gutter clamps snugged on there for the last install. We've test fit the rack. Everything looked good. The placement of the feet worked out really well. If you don't have quite as great a fit as you would like, again, you just loosen some of this hardware up, slide it around. Your Bronco, as surprising as it may be, might not be exactly square. So a little adjustment here. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect by the numbers. As long as it fits, you've got your gaps about even. That's basically what you're looking for. I'm gonna snug up the rest of this hardware with the supplied torque wrench. We'll get it put back on the rig and we'll show you the clamps that attach this to the gutter rail. Just for reference, the hardtop gutter measurement is about 57 3/4 of an inch. If you want to preset yours there as far as a trial fit before you test fit your rack, I do recommend making a little bit of a mark on the rail where the edge of the bracket goes, because once you test fit it, you're going to want to slide this over and then torque these other bolts down. To hold the crossbar in place, kind of strategically tighten those and then move these over, loosen them up, move them over after you've marked, get to the bolts that are underneath here. Then you can slide them back to your marks, run them down tight, and then get loaded back on top of the rig. So these are the gutter clamps. There's a metal bracket. It's got a little bit of a rubber edge here to keep from scuffing up the paint and to give you a little bit more grip. And this plastic piece there helps cover, protect these mounting holes here. So this is going to sit down in the gutter. This is going to grab onto the underside of the lip, bolt down like such. We're on our final step here, getting the rack clamped down to the gutter rail. You've got your metal clamp bracket as well as your plastic cover piece. Got our supplied hardware, basically getting the brackets set up. We've got a Torx, I believe this is a T30. Just gonna get it started into the hole here. Just kind of walking it back and forth, snugging one bolt down, going to the other, just to get an even clamping force. I'm not gonna get the final torque onto these bolts until I get the other ones clamped down as well, kind of get even pressure holding everything down. Now that we've got all the brackets attached, we'll go ahead and snug them down evenly. Again, you just want to get a good clamp on the gutter rail there. You don't want to distort anything, but as far as that goes, you're done. Put some accessories on there, load some luggage on there, throw your kids up there. If you're interested in getting your own Rhino rack, give us a call. We'll hook you up. If you have any questions about the install or any of the product details, we'll be happy to help you. Make sure to like, subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.